The Super Eagles coach Jose Pasiero just yesterday resigned from the position. Well, he didn't resign. His contract expired and the NFF did not renew his contract. And a lot of people, a lot of football fans, pundits, analysts, journalists, everybody in between, I love football. And I think a large percentage of Nigerians love football. Have been earned their opinions. And the conversation has been on who takes over from Jose Pasiero. The news we're getting, not confirmed yet, is that Augustine Egonvon will take over from Jose Pasiero. That conversation is one for another day. But I was going to talk about the Nigerian football fans and their foul sense of entitlement with how well they think the Super Eagles can go. During the African Cup of Nations, where the Super Eagles got to the finals and lost to eventual winners, the Ivorians, the host country, a lot of football fans and analysts were very critical of the coach Jose Pasiero. He talked about how his tactics, the 3-5-2 or the 3-4-3 formation, was not reminiscent of how the Super Eagles play. They talked about how it wasn't our style as Super Eagles. That this is not the thing we're known as. I think I saw a piece by Sheyi Olofinjana, former Nigerian Super Eagles international, talk about how Jose Pasiero's footballing style is not a reflection of the Nigerian footballing style. And I laughed first because I think that a lot of Nigerian fans are still living in their heads as to what the Super Eagles can and should be like. Two, I think the idea of a Nigerian style of play is a figment of our imagination. And here is why I say that. Most footballing styles, most most nations that have footballing styles do two things or get their styles from two very distinct methods. I'll give you examples of them so you can understand. It is either it is a reflection of their culture as a people, or it is a thing that they intentionally worked at and improved on. The two biggest examples of these different divides is the samba football in Brazil and the tiki-taka in Spain. In Brazil, freedom of expression is a thing, is a culture for them. They love to express themselves. They are free. You hear places like the Rio de Janeiro beach and the kind of things, the freedom they have, the freedom of art and expression that these people have. So it wasn't so much about the football as a style, more it was an expression of the culture of the people in their footballing style. The other end of the divide is the Spanish tiki-taka that was very popularized in 2010s and 2008 where they went into the World Cup and the Euros. It was an intentional style of play that they put into the works for years that has translated into how every of their teams, from the women to the men to the boys to the girls, play. Now, the reason why I said those two things, it is because when we talk about the Nigerian style of play, we very much, and this is a mistake a lot of young people do, and I think even old people do, fall back to the 1994 Super Eagles squad that was super exciting to watch. Some would also say in the 70s and the 80s you played a certain style, and that's true. There's a style that Nigeria plays, has used to play in the past, but can we be honest that style has not been so consistent for long periods of time for us to lay ownership of it being our style? That's one. Two, there is a thing called reality. Reality is looking at what is and telling yourself the facts as they are, not as you expect them to be. Nigeria's football as it stands, given how our Premier Football League is, the NPFL, given the quality of players we have, the coaches we have, and the things we see and how football has evolved, Nigeria football as it is sort of doesn't allow you to play, air quote, the Nigerian style. Secondly, because of how football has become very intentional in its play, it means that if the Super Eagles or any national team at all wants to play the Nigerian style, there has to be some level of intentionality in how it is set up. From the academy through to the national, senior national teams, this thing has to be ingrained in them. It's like a player who was taught to kick and follow football, then asking him to play tiki taka. It will be difficult for him. Not impossible, but difficult. Also, I think that we do not realize that the current crop of players we have that we know, I know, like every nation in the world, we believe we have the best talent anywhere in football. And maybe that is true, maybe it is not. I don't have data or whatever to explain or disprove that. But the one thing that I know is that when we look across board, especially across Europe, the players of Nigerian descent or those born from here who are playing in the biggest leagues in the world don't necessarily offer us the opportunity to play the Nigerian style. Our biggest wingers are Demola Lukman, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, and maybe Nathan Taylor. All right. In all honesty, while these players are brilliant players on their day and in their level, they do not give you the excitement that Finidi George or Garba Lawal or Pius Ikedia used to give you before. We know it's not nostalgia talking. We know that guys are not necessarily there yet in terms of how they play and their football intelligence. Now, is it possible that we have other players who are way better than them in lesser leagues, in the NPFL, in the NNL? Of course, there is. The people at the highest of positions are not always the best they are. There are people who are opportune by sheer grit and hard work and some slices of luck to get to where they are. That is life. It's not something we can debate. However, I think that football fans' expectations of how they think the Super Eagles should play do not match the reality of where we are. The NPFL, the NNL, the under 17, under 16, under 15, under 20 national teams of Nigeria do not have a style. Laramboso style is different from Emmanuel Amunike's style. Is different from what Nduka Ogbade would play. Is different from what Coach Samson Siasia would do, or Augustine Eguavon, Finidi George, whoever is in charge of the national teams. Now, what this means is that we cannot say we have a style when there's a lot of disjointedness across board. If you watch a Spanish female national team, there's no difference between the La Foya or her, the male team, and the women's team. The Spanish under 17 women's team play the same way the Spanish national team play because there was an intentionality as to how they want their teams to play. The culture in England before the introduction of tiki taka and the rest of them was what we like to call kick and follow, right? And that cut across board. So if we are demanding for swashbuckling, exciting football, we have to be realistic in saying we don't exactly have the materials right now based on the names available. Do we have them on tap talent? Of course we do. But the ones we have tapped, they're not good enough to play in that way and get results. Secondly, the ultimate thing in football is to get results. I don't care for your idealism, man. I don't care what you think, how you feel the game should be played. The goal is to get results. In the words of Jose Mourinho, it's about the results, not all of this superficial, aesthetically pleasing thing we talk about. I would love to watch beautiful Barcelona-esque a Man City club game present football. I would love it. I would love to see 120 passes made from the goalkeeper to the final attacker before a goal goes in the back of the net. I would love it. But let us be honest. If we do all of those things and we do not get the result, it makes absolutely no sense. So again, bruv, what do you want? Good football or results? I also think that the sticks thrown at Jose Pasero, while some would say is worth it, is also unfair. I think the Nigerians fail to realize that the last time we got to a finals of an AFCON was in 2013. And even in that AFCON, we were the underdogs to even get to the finals. I think Nigerians fail to realize that we've had coaches like Samson Siasia, Ahmadu Shuaibu, Christian Chuku, Augustine Eguavon, a plethora of them get it raw who have tried their hands at the AFCON title and have failed on several occasions. Post, Stephen Kesh in 2013, we've not got into the final. Genetro got to the semi-finals and was beaten by eventual winners Algeria. And would we say Genetro's footballing style was exciting? No, it was, but at least it got a result. The last time we played exciting football was with Auguste Guavon, and we saw what happened. Again, I'm not saying we cannot achieve swashbuckling, exciting, playing from the wings football and victory. We can, but we don't have the materials to do that right now. Secondly, bruv, we need to win. Football is beyond your idealism. It is pragmatic. You have to do what you have to do to ensure that you win. So, while we are saying it's fine that Jose Pasero has been relieved of his job or has moved on to better things, I pray for him. I also think that we need to be realistic in our expectations of what we think the Super Eagles can achieve. I know we think we are the best country in the world. I know we think we have the best players in world football. I know all of this, but we have to be honest and realistic with ourselves and say, are we sure? Can we say with all iota of certainty that we have the best players in the world? That we have the kind of players that can give us the kind of football that we need and also give us results? Are we saying all of this, our expectations on how the Eagles should play and how they should perform based on what we think they should do, not based on current realities on ground? I don't know, I'm asking you, but I think that Jose Pasero did a brilliant job. The time he had to prepare the boys for a 3-4-3 formation was quite short. And I believe that if he had more time, he would have formed this team into becoming a world beater. I just want to say that some years ago, we thought Genetro was the worst thing to happen to Nigerian football. But after Genetro left and Jose Pasiero's string of terrible results came in, we missed Genetro. For those of you who are into Nigerian politics, we thought Muhammadu Buhari was the worst thing to happen to Nigeria's economy. Well, only if we knew. Right now, we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu as it is right now, who doesn't exactly inspire confidence and motivation amongst Nigerians. So, while you're trying to get something better, are you throwing away something good because you think you're deserving of more? Are you facing reality? Are you being honest with yourself? Or do you still live in your head and in past glory? Follow me on YouTube, like, comment, share, and help me to get to 1 million subscribers before the end of 2024.